The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are not necessarily representative of the coalition or any other entity. This content is intended for mature audiences only.
Yeah, what's going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 146. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and I'm joined by Emilio Lopez,
Sonic Mania,
Chris Seeley,
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero,
Game of Thrones, man.
Brian Manjoma.
It's mad world out there, people.
Yes, it is. And Brett Murdoch.
Game of Thrones, indeed.
Oh, man. Okay, this is going to be the Game of Thrones spoiler alert.
No, okay.
Just kidding.
Before we move into this, I want to share an amusing fact. So last week, before we were doing the on-air stuff, I was teasing Tony about spoilers, and he's like, no spoilers. So I just started throwing out ludicrous curveballs, just like these random things, and I was like, oh man, I can't believe that this happened, and this happened, and this happened. Come to find out, like 3 of those 4 things happened in the episode tonight. So I inadvertently spoiled Tony by trying to throw him curveballs.
Yeah, so now I forbid Brett from like giving predictions and doing shit like that because he's probably going to be right. You know? Man, oh man. There's a lot of funny things that happen on Twitter today. We're going to talk about some of them, other stuff we won't. But I'm just going to say this real quick. It's very funny when, virtuous people get fucking exposed. I love that shit.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick, man. You can keep it in your pants. Oh, I am fucking loving it, man. Anyway, so we got a bunch of questions here. But before that, a couple of things here. So I kind of left Manny alone for this, but tomorrow I'm going to grab him so we could do a video for the contest. Because Manny, I know you got that deadline. It's like, we'll do it on Monday,
Oh yeah,
So,
I'm like going nuts. I have like 7 pages to finish by tomorrow morning.
How?
Oh, damn.
So yeah, we're gonna do a contest for Sonic Mania Collector's Edition. We're gonna put a video together that's gonna give you all the details. So I have the shit at my house, it's ready to go. So and we're gonna give it away on episode 149, which is in 2 weeks. So I'm going to keep.
Also, I want to throw this out to people. This is the Sonic Mania Collector's Edition, which I'm pretty sure is sold out completely now. Is it not?
It is. Yes, it is.
Yep. So the only way that you guys are going to be able to get your hands on this, if you haven't already, is through Throwdown or some other black market dealer. Who knows? You could kill a hooker for it. But the best way to get it is right here on Throwdown.
Yeah, and Brett and I both said we should get the PS4 version because most of our fans are PS4 guys. Let's just be honest. I don't know if we could give a PC version away or an Xbox. Yo, Adam, remember when you tried to give away those Gears of War codes?
Nobody wanted the damn code.
Took them, son.
Nobody took them. Just like, free games, and they're like, nah.
Yeah, by the way, people, Adam Bale's in the house, man. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, what's up? Sorry, watching SummerSlam. 18 hours of wrestling complete. Holy shit!
Did Macho Man win? Did he marry Elizabeth?
Oh, that was sad. Yeah, we were there for that one. I remember that.
Yeah, we were.
That was a good one.
So
I love you.
So yeah, at the beginning and end of every episode, we're going to talk about the contest. Also, quick thing, because Damien came out of nowhere again, and he asked us questions. Damien, unfortunately, we don't. This is how long he hasn't been watching the show. We don't answer pop culture stuff anymore. You actually asked 3 questions too. So next time, make it gaming, please, man. This is a new Throwdown. Sleek and shit. And the last thing, because this worked out pretty well, gonna do this at the top of every episode. If you want to ask us shit, if you're watching this after we record live, if you want to ask us questions, leave them in the comments section of this episode on YouTube or on the Coalition. And for you guys watching us live, start throwing some shit in there, man. With that, I think we're good to go. So let's fucking do it. All right, Gamescom, motherfuckers. So Xbox had their Gamescom conference today. We got a bunch. Yeah, we got a bunch of questions. So I'm gonna just lump them all into one. This is from No More Pleasant Life, Grim, Swedish Gamer Dad, Fan of Ash. Y'all want our thoughts on the Gamescom Xbox conference? What did we think of that bullshit.
I mean, it wasn't really a conference. It was more like just a sit-down interview.
It was like a tree house.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, did you miss all those trailers that we showed at E3? Here they go again. You know, that's all it was. It was sad.
One thing I did like, one of the girls goes down there, the thing I love about Gamescom, Gamescom is about the gamers, unlike E3, which is about reveals and trailers.
And then they show nothing but trailers.
Yeah, what are we seeing here? Some donuts, a lot of donuts.
It's about getting those games into the players, into gamers' hands.
Yo, you see Aaron Greenberg, this man was saying, oh, we're all about giving exclusives to fans, non-stop exclusives. I'm like, really? Like, what fucking... By the way,
I'm putting a spin on it.
By the way, that would have been the perfect time for those Throwdown crickets to show up. Just saying. It's like, what exclusives, motherfucker? I ain't see them. I have an Xbox. I played one game on that.
Did you notice at no point, even when they showed the Scorpio version, did they talk about price? They just don't even talk about it. It's like, oh, pre-order it now, pre-order now. What if somebody didn't know? I didn't know how much that Scorpio edition was going to cost.
It's the same price.
But they didn't say it. They could have said that. They could have even said it. It was like,
wait. I didn't watch all of it. There's an Xbox X Scorpio edition.
Yes, it's
Project Scorpio edition.
Yeah, Project Scorpio edition.
By the way, quick little story for you guys. So I missed about the first 20 minutes. So I go into them like, oh shit, I'm missing this thing. I am not kidding you. Almost everybody was like, Tony, you're not missing nothing. You're not missing nothing. So I go in there and I watch the rest of it, like another 40 minutes. Yo, they didn't show. This is what I said on Twitter. I'm like, when your biggest highlight of the show is the indie section, you have a fucking problem. It's like nothing. They showed nothing. Like they had Sea of Thieves, whatever, Forza, who gives a shit, and all this other nonsense. The only thing that got me excited was Cuphead. Cuphead was the only thing I saw that made me go crazy. Other than that, I'm like, what is this?
What is Jurassic World Evolution?
Who the fuck knows?
Like, no, from this trailer, like, I cannot tell what kind of game this is.
It's a park. It's a simulation. Like, you can build the Jurassic Park.
Okay.
No, so it's like a Sim City.
No, it's Roller Coaster Tycoon or Theme Park.
But the sad thing is that this was really to hype the console. They kept saying it. Oh, wow, this is it. This is what we've been waiting for. But there was nothing to hype it up game-wise. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, show me why I should get this because I want to see a gameplay video, something running on the damn thing. And they didn't even do that. And that's what was disappointing because it was like, all right, then this was just nothing. This was a waste of time.
It really was, man. Like, I wish I could say more about it, but there was nothing to get out of it. It was just embarrassing, It
was well, I was hoping, the one thing I was hoping for, and I don't know why, I figured that they were going to say, hey, we know Crackdown 3 has been delayed, but hey, here's Crackdown 1 and 2 backward compatible. Go play, revisit that world, and get ready and get hyped for 3. That's what I thought. I thought that would have been good PR right there. They didn't do it.
Yeah, here's some of the random questions we got. Like Swedish Gamer Dad says, was this the worst conference of the year?
It wasn't even a conference.
So could you even call that a conference?
No, that wasn't a conference.
I guess, but better word be worst presentation.
I guess.
I don't know. I get, by default, but I remember some people going like, "Yo, like this thing was just as bad as the PlayStation Pro reveal." I'm like, if you have to compare to that piece of shit, that means you didn't do a good job. If that's the only thing you can compare.
Remember, they also didn't really hype that either. That was just like a closed off, wasn't that just for the industry type of thing? And then they did a weird live stream. I remember I watched it online.
That shit because they sold tickets to the fans too.
They did for that one
because it was at the PlayStation Theater.
I remember seeing it. I'm like, this looked real dry. It was like, okay, this is it.
Well, no, it was because it was Mark Cerny on a stage for like 30 minutes talking about fucking specs.
Yeah. He was giving an engineering lesson to everyone. I'm like, God, this.
Yeah, it's like look at this game on 1080p. Look at it at 4K. It's like, I'm watching it streaming, bro. I don't see a fucking difference.
Yeah, sorry, Mark. We can't see. We can't add extra P's to our our vision to your stream, which is running in 1080p.
Yeah, it's like I'm able to see your fancy shirts just fine, but I can't see the fucking games. But yeah, this Xbox thing was so fucking dry and boring.
Like HDR.
Yeah, go ahead.
And their big announcement was at Jurassic Park. Because I was looking online, I'm like, what was your big announcement? Did I miss something? No, it was Jurassic Park.
Who gives a shit?
Carlos, what are you gonna say, man?
Yeah, like someone posted on Twitter is like, oh yeah, like this is pretty much the E3 reveal. I'm like, nope, they showed Crackdown in that reveal, that E3 conference, man.
Yeah,
They
they
showed
act like that
Crackdown in this
game.
one.
They act like that wasn't even a thing. They didn't said nothing about it. You know, they just that's it. It's done.
It's ridiculous, man. Because if you think about this whole year, I mean, last year was kind of pathetic. This year's even worse.
It really is, man.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, like last year they had Quantum Break, they had Recore, they had Forza and Gears, right?
Gears, yeah. Yep.
This year
Halo,
is
you had Halo Wars too.
so that's
Halo
this
Wars
year.
is this year. Yeah, Halo Wars 2 is this year.
Oh,
So this year is Halo Wars 2, Cuphead, Forza, another Forza,
Super Lucky's Tale.
and yo, man, the exclusive of the year.
and they
There you go.
counted PlayerUnknown Battleground. They put that in that category too.
But
We're
that's
gonna
not
talk. We're gonna
exclusive.
talk about that.
Exclusive.
They considered it an exclusive because it's not on any other console.
Well, we know how far they need to reach, man. That's a Captain Fantastic reach right there, man.
Shit.
And that's coming out
I mean,
next year.
Mr. Fantastic, not
I don't know
Captain.
Oh,
I thought
yeah,
it was
Mr.
coming
Fantastic,
out.
yeah.
I thought that was coming like in November, December. That's in 2018 sometime.
What, Pug?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I thought that was coming soon.
Nah, son, that's next year.
Yeah, that sucks.
Xbox ain't got nothing, man.
That sucks.
Yo, by the way, I find it funny because the big joke about Xbox is like they have more controllers than games. They literally, I am not making this up. They literally had a bowl of controllers on the desk.
Well, they were hyping up to go make your own. Remember that was? I don't know. Maybe you missed that part.
I remember
like,
that. I have one of those.
Yeah, they took out their controllers and they were like, "Oh yeah," and they showed the same trailer that we seen before about going to their creation center and making your own controller, as if like, "Oh, you forgot that you can do this? Go make one."
Yeah, and the whole. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I made a joke a while ago. Remember I said when you have more teraflops and exclusives, you have a problem. It came true.
Yep, pretty much.
Man. And like now that the novelty with the controllers, because I mean, there's a lot of fucking jokes about the controllers, like having more controllers than exclusives now. Like now they're doing it with freaking consoles, man. Like the consoles are getting like customized and shit, man. That's the new thing.
That's right, man. It's crazy.
You customize your console now?
Yeah, like I have a Minecraft
Minecraft
console.
Yo, that Minecraft console looks like they threw up on it. I'm not even making that up. It's like, right over the console.
Is it green?
It's green and brown.
It's like a weird,
disgusting.
Oh, they went through Double Dare and then they sold it.
Oh, Microsoft fucking it up, man. All right, I don't think we have any. It's sad, man.
It's disappointing to that because again, I know a lot of the guys out there call this the Sony down and all that other shit. But the thing is that a lot of us do have the Xboxes, and a lot of us are looking for those moments to go in and play an Xbox.
Yo, the only time I turn on my Xbox is once a week to watch Game of Thrones. That's it.
I don't for me, I don't own it. I don't never really owned an Xbox except for the original Xbox that Adam gave me. But the thing is, like, I'm looking for reasons to pick this thing up, and Microsoft is not giving me things that are selling me on it.
Yeah.
Well, they're not giving new customers a reason, to sell on it.
Well, yeah, I would be a new customer.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I was like, it's a hard sell. Like, this is a bad time for this console to come out, and I understand things are planned way in advance. So it's like, it is what it is. Because this was probably set up way before all those other Scalebound and other games got canceled. You know what I mean? So it's like, shit, we really have nothing to show for it. Because, I mean, think about that. That's hard to sell new hardware with no software.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole point of hardware is to sell software.
Pretty much, but somebody didn't give Microsoft the memo.
Yeah, one of the selling points is how like the games are enhanced now. It's like over 100 games are enhanced.
100 games are enhanced.
But they didn't show that either. That's the other thing. Do a comparison. Do something.
Exactly. It's like good luck selling that shit on fucking Walmart.
Oh, man. It's just
crazy.
tough. I don't want to see them fail, and it's just
Nobody
scary.
does, man.
Nobody. And then to see this type of shit happen, it's sad. It's just sad.
Yeah. All right, let's move on because we got a lot of questions tonight. Phantom Vash is back, man. So he comes, he asks us about Gamescom too, but his second question is more involved. So, sit tight because I got to read all this. Okay, so he goes, sorry for the long intro because before the second question, but I added info before it to help give you guys a better picture of what I am asking. So he goes, ever since Sony got burned by Universal with Crash Bandicoot and Spyro during the PS1 era, Sony has been reluctant to invest its studios/resources on IPs they do not own. However, over the last 2 years, things seem to have changed. This year, Sony published Neo worldwide, except Japan, where they let the IP owners Koei Tecmo publish the game. Secondly, they are also publishing Marvel's Spider-Man, which comes out in 2018. Finally, Sony recently announced that their own first-party Team Japan studio, along with Hexadrive, will be co-developing Monkey King. Hero is back with October Media, the IP owner supervising the project, but are letting Oasis Games publish the title worldwide, even though Sony themselves are more than capable of distributing the game. The last time Sony allowed any game that their own first-party studio helped to make but did not publish themselves in some capacity was Demon's Souls. Sony published Demon's Souls in Japan, Asia, but did not think the game would be a success in the West, so they let Atlas publish the game in the US and Bandai Namco in Europe and Australia. So my question is, what are your thoughts on the fact that recently Sony seems to be willing to develop/publish games based on IPs they do not own, and why do you think 3 generations later they have strangely decided to change their policy? Personally, I see this as a good thing. All right, so yeah, what do you think about that? Sony's now letting other company that they're publishing games that for shit they don't own. They don't own Spider-Man, shit like that.
They don't own Spider-Man, but they do. But they know fucking Spider-Man will make them fucking money.
Yeah. So why do you think they had a change of heart?
Well, I mean, number one, for Spider-Man, it's Spider-Man. That shit prints money, no matter how good or bad the fucking game is. For the other ones, so it's like what they're helping to make these games.
Yeah, so they could like publish them, but they don't have to put as many resources into developing them because they don't have to develop at all, really.
No, I mean the thing is, I'm sure it's very much like what Microsoft used to do, where they essentially just pay for funding or something on the game. It's probably just an exclusivity sort of a pull. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem that far from what they usually do. I mean, what is it? Wasn't the company that did the Getaway not a Sony studio until they bought it and then they closed them down?
Yeah, right.
So I mean, these things do exist. I mean, they still had they were helping to develop things that weren't directly their own IPs for a long time. I don't see this as anything new, but it's nice to see that they're doing. They're actively going out there and trying to get some more games, more exclusive games.
Yeah, it's a good thing, And money talks, man.
Bullshit walks.
Yeah, that's right. Street Fighter. That was another one.
Even though the game sucked ass.
Yeah,
like it's something that like companies need to do to sell their console. Like they want to have like exclusive stuff to like sell their systems. I mean, I wish another company was doing more of this kind of stuff. I mean, we're not going to mention it right now. Maybe we will.
Yeah, we can.
The thing is that like I feel like Microsoft doesn't have a good way isn't good at having that sort of foresight to see what people might have interest in. I don't think they're very good at it. I think they're looking for big blockbusting sort of stuff and to kind of invest in rather than maybe taking a chance on something smaller. I mean, the only one that that really comes to mind is Cuphead, but that's an independent game that they're kind of putting.
I'm waiting to see when Phil Spencer comes out and says, "All right, this is a studio that I found, and this is a game that I found." You know what I mean? Because he canceled a lot of stuff from the previous, manager. So I'm just curious to see when he introduces, and I'm sure he has something or some studios that he's working with. He has to.
Well, they kind of did it with Sunset Overdrive and Scalebound.
Yeah.
But that's just like Sunset Overdrive didn't do as well as they expected, but like Scalebound was just a mess.
Scalebound got fucking canceled,
Yeah, it's like I don't know, maybe it's like a Japan studio thing that they're not really good at developing relationships and getting all these deals like with all these companies.
I don't know, man. All right, I think we move on to the next question here. Mr. G Megaforce 123. This is an interesting one. He goes, "Are gamers and their addiction to nostalgia stagnating the gaming industry?" I wish you would have given us examples of that. I don't think so. You know,
I mean,
He's talking about the
he's-
Crash Bandicoot. He's talking about the Crash and the Sonic Mania and all that.
Sonic,
shit.
yeah.
yeah, but how is that even stagnating anything? Those aren't like the majority games out there. They're just
I
Sonic
think what he's trying to say is that studios, I guess, could be working on new IPs, but instead they're all now going to jump on the train of nostalgia and just start remaking old shit. I think that's what he's trying to say.
But the one thing about, I mean, you know, for at least for Crash Bandicoot, that's essentially just the total from the ground up
Yeah,
remake,
it absolutely is.
rather than like Sonic Mania, which is actually a new game. So
Yeah, I guess this question, I guess we got to take it in totality, not just this year, because there have been a lot of remakes. So maybe he's talking about shit like that,
We say remakes,
It's a
remasters, definitives.
Yeah, HD,
For sure.
whatever,
does it stagnate the industry? It might. If all of like when we first got into this generation where everything was a friggin' remaster from the last generation.
But you know what?
I mean, it's because it's an easy pay. It's an easy payday. It's like, okay, this is something people loved. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
But
I don't think it's stagnating anything, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a fan base for something. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what it is. Like when Sleeping Dogs, when they did the definitive, I was sold on it. I'm like, shit, there's a lot of people that slept on that game, no pun intended. They were like, oh, yeah, there's a lot of people like, I don't want to play that knockoff GTA. That thing was on its own legs. It was awesome. Yeah. I enjoyed Sleeping Dogs. And when they announced the definitive and I saw the side-by-side comparison, I'm like, wow, this 1080p, this looks beautiful. I went back into it and I beat it again. It worked. Made me happy.
I don't think nostalgia.
Throwdown crickets, man. Let's go.
Let me flip the question on its head a little bit. Does nostalgia ruin the movie industry? Does it ruin the music industry? Like, to a certain extent, yes, but to the better part, no. I mean, the new, all the Spider-Man could said to be selling on nostalgia, and it was.
What about the Ghostbusters? A lot of people weren't fond of the new one.
No, I know it works sometimes and it doesn't work other times. So like, I don't think you can really attack the issue in such broad strokes as is nostalgia good or bad.
Stranger Things is like the perfect example of this.
I don't think there's anything wrong with nostalgia at all.
Nope. And then nostalgia changes depending on your generation. You know what I mean?
I don't have too big of an issue with nostalgia. The only thing that like kind of worries me is, for example, Sonic Mania is a game that is getting like heavily praised, right? If that's a game that gets like all these Game of the Year awards and stuff, and then companies are thinking, no, we should just do like a whole bunch of Sonic Manias, and I'm like, I don't think we want to do that.
I don't have a problem with that shit. There's a ton of games in my head. I'm like, bring this shit back now. I wouldn't mind that at all. I fucking by the
what game I would like?
I fucking love it.
Bring back the original Ninja Gaiden side scroll.
Yeah, man, bring that shit back. Bring
that was fun.
I'm telling you, they could do
one.
Shit,
I'd like to play that again.
Yeah, for sure.
I think there are a lot of games that would hold up, especially from like the pixel sprite era.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a shame if those things were to disappear, because just like a good book can last generations, or to a lesser extent a good film can last generations. Like I think there's a lot of people that have never played Earthbound, and Earthbound is an awesome experience and one that I think everybody should have. And I think it holds up to the test of time. So if we just want to, I think the key to it is, are you properly handling your nostalgic property? And Sonic Mania is being praised because it actually pays homage to it.
Yeah.
You have a lot of games that just kind of try and ride just the idea of nostalgia while changing everything else, like Ghostbusters. And that kind of stuff tends to fall on its face.
Well, it's going to be interesting when this Call of Duty World War II comes, because that's a nostalgia right there. That's over like 11 years old. You know what I mean? There's a whole generation of kids that have never played a World War II Call of Duty. I mean, they only know the modern. So since they've thrown so much money at this, and we've seen a lot of these nostalgias usually are like, they're smaller budgets. This is a huge budget throwback. Let's see if this works out. I think it will. I think the audience will get into it, but a lot of these kids are going to be freaked out when they can't wall jump and do all that other shit.
Hey,
I'll do you one maybe better. I am wondering about the remake of Final Fantasy because they're going to be changing. They pulled out all the guts. They're changing the system and everything like that. The story, in theory, should remain intact. So we'll see how people react to that because it's not the same game. It's not going to be the same game. Maybe my beef is showing here.
Yeah,
I'm not that excited about that remake of Final Fantasy. The minute they started saying it's going to be some other type of game, it's like, okay, so now we're just reinventing the wheel rather than just kind of refining and refining the what was already there and just making it a prettier sort of game.
Talking about 7, right?
yeah.
7.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on here to the next question. Okay, what's the most you've ever spent on a game? I spent $250 on a copy of Panzer Dragoon Saga a couple months ago. I still haven't had a chance to play it. All right, so what game cost you the most?
Holy.
I spent $350 for Breath of the Wild.
What?
Oh,
well, yeah.
come on, the Switch, yeah.
That shit is funny, man.
I might have about to spent that much for Metal Gear Solid 4. Because I
Hopefully,
was like,
yeah.
there it is. Yep, bought PS3 right
But,
there.
but for the for the spirit of the question, just a single game, not a console.
Oh, just a single game? Yeah. Come back to me. I got this.
Damn, I think I spent. I don't remember it was over $100. It was for Grand Theft Auto 4 that came with the safe deposit box.
Oh shit!
Oh, and the T-shirt and all
yeah.
the stickers.
Yeah, how much was that thing?
I don't. I want to
I
say
have
it
it
was over.
too. The
Yeah,
lock-
Collector's
the
editions
Foot Locker.
count.
Yeah.
Collector's edition counts. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, about $1.20.
Yeah, I know. I spent. You know what it was? Is when I saw it, and I didn't even care about the price. I was like, "Oh, I got to get it." That was it, and I still have the safe deposit box till this day. You know what I mean? But the bag ripped. But still, yeah, that one came with an art book, and that came with a bag, and it was a solid safe deposit box. Yeah, it was over $1 something. And one other one, the Halo 3 with the cat helmet. That was also
Nice.
like 100 or something. Yeah,
That was like 125 or 150.
yeah,
or something.
that was definitely over $100.
Do multiple versions of a single game count?
Nah, let's just stick with one game, just to stick to the spirit of it, because I was thinking the same thing too. You know, like I probably spent like 180, maybe close to on Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, we're guilty for that.
For me, I mean, I usually like to get collector's edition, but I think the most expensive collector's edition I got was the one for the Order 1886. That one was a pretty hefty priced one.
That's the
What
one
did it come with?
That's the one that came with a real life werewolf, right?
It came with a statue of Galahad fighting a werewolf in that one scene where they're in that like abandoned house. You know,
so not the second time he fights the werewolf, right?
it's like the first one. It's like the first one that he fights. Then it came with that little flask of whatever the hell the black whatever that they drank to heal themselves, and then it also came with an art book and some other things. So that was the biggest spending that I've ever done on like a thing like that.
Well, I can tell you that was. Oh wait. Oh well. What was you gonna say?
I just did the calculations and I'm shocked. I have to say I have to change my answer to World of Warcraft. Between 2 years of playing it and I want to say 2 expansions, I spent about $600.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to tally up the bills on some of those MMOs, especially the subscription ones back in the day. I think Warcraft's probably the worst one.
Yeah, if MMOs count, then yeah, you could put me in for World of Warcraft as well.
The only
Not as much
one
as Red though.
that I did want to get, but
That's
it was like
2 years. That's 2 years. That's not even that long. 2 years total over its like 8-year, 10-year lifespan.
Yeah, but I played only a year.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only one that I did want to get, but it was like over $300, was the Call of Duty one that came with a fridge. It came with a mini fridge.
Yeah, I
remember that? And it had a light and everything. I'm like, damn, I would love to. I just can't justify paying that much for it. You know what I mean? And it's like,
It's something you can't. I mean, you could use the fridge.
Oh, you could for your desk and stuff, but then every once in a while I'll look on eBay just to see, and it's like $600 and shit. I mean,
damn,
they never made it again.
But I mean, that's like a fucking cheap fridge if you think about it. A $600 fridge.
But it lit up and it had the cool decal from the game. I'm like, oh, this would be awesome. But I'm like, I can't imagine spending that money. You know, or getting a Titanfall with the real helmet that lights up with all the beeping and stuff. That was also super expensive.
Yeah, I'm blanking on this because I don't really buy collector's edition like that. Like, I have the Sonic Mania one, but if you think about it, it costs $60, which is the price of a normal game. The only one I can think about
which is amazing because of the amount of shit that you get in that thing.
Yeah, it costs $60. It's crazy.
Statue?
Yeah, the only one that comes to my mind is probably X-Men versus Street Fighter. I think that cost me like $80 because it was import. Yeah, that's the only one. Again, I don't really buy collector's editions like that. Like, I'm pretty sure if you add up the season passes of games, maybe, but I'm just trying to go for like a lump sum. Like, I paid this for this game. So I'm gonna go with either X-Men or Street Fighter or one of those Capcom import games back in the day, you know, like $70 and shit. Well, definitely worth it though. Chris, you ready now, man?
Yeah, I'll just say Adam's answer because I also bought the safe deposit box edition of GTA 4.
All right, Brian, what about you, man?
No, I actually don't think I have spent more than like an average price for a game. Because I tend not to buy season passes because I think that a rip-off. I tend not to do any of the special collector's edition. So yeah, I'm like one of those rare guys that doesn't.
You're perfect.
Yeah, good for you, man.
Oh, hell no.
You're practically perfect in every way.
He's like Josh Whedon.
No, like Mary Poppins.
I'm an idiot. Manny, no. I pre-ordered Watch Dogs on PC. I'm an idiot.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know, we'll offer that one. They tricked all of us, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Moving on here to Seth. Manny, this one's for you, man.
What? Who? What? Okay.
So he goes, Manny seems to like Nier Automata. My question is, why hasn't he played Nier? He goes, both games are obviously connected if you know Yoko. So there you go, man.
Yes. Why haven't I played Nier? Because Nier fucking sucks.
Oh.
God damn.
Nier is not. I have. If you guys, you classic guys remember the Throwdown. Tony did review Nier.
No, I didn't. I played Drakengard 3, one of the worst fucking games I ever played. Because of Drakengard, I almost didn't buy Nier Automata. I'm like, oh, it's made by the same guy. Fuck that shit.
Okay, okay.
Manny had to convince me, like, Tony, no, it's platinum. It's good.
Yeah, it's platinum. It's good. So no, I didn't play any of Nier, the original Nier, because of the fact that it's just not. I've played it little bits of it, and it's just not a well executed game. There's some good ideas in there, but I just don't want to save that. So, but what I did do is I did a shitload of research into that game. I literally like read up about every single thing about it. I read up about all the different endings. I read about so like I know all the different little secrets and things that and references that are in this game that connect it to the previous title. So unless Platinum Games can go back and make that game awesome, I'm not going to touch it. And then it's like, which version do I play? Because there's two versions of it. There's the one where you play, the kid, and then there's also the one where you play what's his face, the that horrible looking mountain like Cro-Mag guy. Because remember what they did with that game? They switched out the main character for the West. So in Japan he looks like Raiden, and then in the US he kind of looks like a Cro-Magnon snake in a gimp outfit. Yo, man, you are muted, Tony.
Taking some questions. My question is, how would you play it?
You could play it on the PS3.
Oh, really? I mean, do you have your? Oh, yeah, you do have your PS3.
I still have my PS3.
Oh, yeah, you're good.
Yeah, so I can play it if I wanted to, but I don't want to. I want to save myself that. I'm having a very good time with Nier Automata, and then I don't want to kind of go back to that kind of like
All right, cool. All right, so we'll move on then to Mr. Mark Woodland, who's a very big fan of Throwdown. He goes, "Hi Tony, great show. I have a question. Xbox fanboys talking up PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, saying it's going to be a game changer for Xbox. Do you think it will? Makes me chuckle when they say, of course, Lawbreakers failed on the PS4 the single player box, while it's also saying at the same time that ponies will run out and buy an Xbox when they see pub." And not, and realize it's not on PS4. Make up your minds, guys. This is going to be interesting because I was talking to Brian about this. He thinks the game is going to not do well on Xbox. And Adam, you think it will do well on Xbox?
Man, they just announced 8 million copies. It's still in alpha, early access. I mean, you know what I mean? It's crazy. 8 million sold, I'm telling you. But the only thing I think that could hold it back is the price point. Because it's only like $30 on PC. So it's not, unless I mean they haven't announced it. I don't know if it's going to cross over at $30. If they jump at 60, that can hurt it. But I think a large amount of people, especially if they run out and they get an Xbox X, but like, damn, I want to play something big, and it's going to require that kind of power. It probably won't look as great, because it's not a pretty looking game. But over 100 characters running out on. In fact, I don't even know if the console will have the 100. I'm assuming it will have 100 for the multiplayer, but I think it's going to do big numbers. I think so. I think just for the game itself, just for a new console that just came out and people want something to play on it, I'm sure they're going to promote it to high hell, to link it up, because they see the numbers it's doing on PC. It's going to try to entice some of those people to come on over and say, hey, play this on the console. You can do it. So I think it'll be, I think it'll be big. I think it'll work.
And Brian, why do you disagree?
Purely because that I don't think that the Xbox fan base are like that. Like, we all know that there's a big difference in mentality between console gamers and PC gamers. You actually have a look at this at the MPD charts. Like, console games tend to like go up and spike for a bit, and then they just disappear and are just gone. There are some games that stay there for some time, but generally console gamers just play that game and then they move on to the next thing. Whereas PUG seems to be one of those games that you want to play and you play for like the long run. And I don't think that most console gamers are in that mentality. And also, I don't think it will entice those on PCs like, hey, I might as well just buy the game again on a more expensive machine and at a higher price point. Like, I don't think that will entice anyone on PC to move over.
Well, that's the thing. It's also the price point, like you said. But then what if they do have an Xbox? They already have one and they haven't been playing any games on it because there haven't been any games on it.
That is true. But then also, like, one of the things about PUG is it's a heavily like, it's a game meant to be played with friends. And if your friends aren't playing on Xbox, then like PUG as a solo game is ridiculously weird. So I don't think that many people will just jump over unless they already have a friend base on Xbox as it is.
Hey, Brian, and by the way, just prefacing it with, I actually 100% agree with you, but what do you say about games like Overwatch and Destiny that are still being played on console till this day?
I think they just hit a niche and they hit that well. I just don't think that, and I also think that they are to the point where they are, they are accessible enough to everyone to play with, so hence why they can hook in like the casuals. I don't think that PUG can hook in the casuals based on how the game is made. It seems to be like too focused on like, because okay, it's like a game you're dropped in, 100 people, you have one life, survive. After you die, that's it. I don't think that the casuals will like want that type of experience.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Like games like Overwatch and Destiny and Call of Duty, like these are games where you can literally just go in, play for half an hour, you're done, you go. Whereas with PUG, like games can last between like 5 minutes and maybe like an hour. So I don't think that that type of experience will work well on that type of mindset.
I think by the way, price point.
Brett's soapbox doesn't like the fact that we're calling it PUG. It's like, it's not a dog. I'm calling it PUG.
I don't call it that. I don't.
Okay, Battlegrounds.
Okay, yeah, we call it Battlegrounds or pub. PUBG. I want to say PUBG.
Well, that's why I think it's key with the pricing. I think if they put it at the same price at that $30, most people will be like, yeah, I'll pick it up for $30. But if they try to bring it in like a console price, $60, they're going to have to offer a lot more than just that one mode. I don't think that's going to be a thing. So it really comes down to the pricing.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, anybody else want to jump in on that? What do you think Battlegrounds is going to be a game changer for Xbox?
No.
I mean, was Overwatch a game changer for Xbox?
No.
There you go.
Overwatch is on multiple platforms. It's on PlayStation 4.
Yeah, but so is
Pug is not. Pug is only on PC. So if you're a console if you're a console gamer, this is your only option.
Yeah, but console gamers don't want to play.
Now
Don't like the only reason why this game is even popular for Xbox gamers is because that's the only exclusive they have. Like that's the only that's getting hyped up by the fucking Xbox fanboys. It's not the mainstream that's hyping up this game.
Not yet. Yeah, I have a feeling they're going to promote the shit out of it. It's going to get to that point, and they already know it. A lot of people that do have an Xbox. How many are out there? How many Xboxes out there? We talked about it. It was like
20-some million.
20
yeah, it's like 30 million.
Yeah, it's like 30 million. All right. So if this thing does come in at $30, and they know all the hype from the PC world, $30 is not going to hurt someone's pocket. They're like, you know what? Yeah, I'll do it. I'll dip in for that. You know, and I think that alone will bring it. Because what if they already sold 8 million on PC, and there's all these other millions of just with the console, and they know that it's well, this is sort of an exclusive unless I have a PC. Then yeah, why not?
That's a fair point. You know.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on here to Brett's soapbox, or the artist formerly known as Hashling and Slasher. So his first question is an interesting one. He goes, "Could you tell the difference between an exclusive game and a multiplat game? For example, if I sat you down and had a few games ready at their start menus and you had no prior knowledge as to who made the games, do you think you could tell which was made by a first party and which was made by a third party?" I have my answer, but I'll let you guys go first.
I'm pretty sure I could.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in. Yeah, I could. First party game. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, first party games have a certain look to them, a little bit more polished to them. Because here's the thing, most third party games, right? They're running on like an Unreal something like that, where it's everybody's using that shit. Most first party games are using proprietary things, so you can instantly spot them. I'll bring up Naughty Dog. I remember at PlayStation Experience last year, as soon as I showed the trailer for Uncharted, I didn't know it was Uncharted. I'm like, it's a Naughty Dog game. You could just tell by the certain art style they use, the way the engine looks. You could just spot that type of shit right away, So yeah, you could totally tell. It is a little bit harder nowadays. Now, back in the day, you could tell the difference between a third party or a first party. You could tell what system it was specifically on. A little bit harder now, but you could still tell the difference for sure.
I also feel like also the somewhat exception to the rule is if it's an exclusive to a console, like if it has like some of the Metal Gear games, the first few ones, those things are pretty hefty as far as graphics at those times. So I do think you can definitely see the difference, but I do think you can also see the difference when a company is just developing for one console as well.
Yeah, you're right about that. It's a good point. Even if the game is from a third party, if it's a first party game, you're going to tell the difference immediately. Brett, go ahead. I know you have some more to say about this.
Yeah, I would agree that a lot of times they have more polish, but in some ways, sometimes they seem a little bit more restrictive. I'll go with first party games tend to have a little bit more personality to them.
Yeah,
they seem to be tighter on their mechanics and their controls. It's very clear that they're going for an enjoyable experience in terms of gameplay. They want it to be viral. They want it to be addictive. They want to put it in your hands, and so that you'll put it in somebody else's hands, and then they'll go buy it too. So they tend to be very satisfying and very well tuned, and have a little bit more personality. Some of them that I've seen don't even have the most polished graphics, but they're usually very mechanically sound games, from what I've generally see. I'm sure somebody can find an exception to that rule, but yeah. So I'd say mechanically sound, have a little bit more personality, and a lot of times they do look tuned specifically for the hardware, so they run really well, even if they even Naughty Dog makes everything beautiful, but a lot of times first party games also run really well too, which is why they might feel like they have such tight mechanics.
Yeah, for sure. Anybody else want to jump in on this? I'm gonna take that as a no, so we'll move on here to the next question. We just got this one right now, actually. Should the PlayStation and Xbox Store move from having reviews based on those 5 stars and instead adopt Netflix and Steam's way of handling reviews with the like/dislike option?
That hurts.
I hate the up-down thing.
Yeah, I like the 5 stars, man.
Yeah.
I like the 5-star thing too, but it's kind of useless on Xbox and PlayStation because there's so many people that don't vote, and there's so you can get like a false a numbering on there.
The PlayStation has that vote. I've seen it where it's like and you see the thumbs up, but it doesn't have a thumbs down. It has the thumbs up, and then the star thing only works if you have a game on the PlayStation Network. If you own the game on, as like a real down, like the physical version of that game, that star system doesn't work. Oh, okay.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's the one thing they don't tell you. Well, they never tell you.
And by the way, I should say I prefer the star system to the like system, but I'm not happy with the star system either. Just wanted to get that out there.
The star system is fucked up because you'll see a shitty game will have 5 stars on it. It's like what?
Yeah, because the fanboys went in there and gave it thumbs up. That's why stars or whatever. So you know what? I'm going to say all of those rating systems are stupid. I'll just go with that.
The rating systems in general on those.
You know how we feel about ratings on Throwdown, man.
The rating system on there can. The rating system, yeah, you like how Steam does it, right? The rating system just on there on the PlayStation, and I'm sure on Xbox is a little flawed because, all you need to do is just get people don't vote on it, or people who do like the game specifically give it a really high score. So
yeah,
the rating system only works if the people who use it honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So to that extent, in a perfect world where people do that, I would choose a 5-star system because it's less binary. Like the up-down thing is just completely binary. It doesn't have any precise measurement of people's enjoyment of the game. Well, as much precise enjoyment of the people as the 5-star rating. So that's why I would say I prefer the 5-star over that.
Yeah, he also quickly said, what rating would you implement if you could make your own? Man, me, I'm the anarchist when it comes to take all that shit down. Fuck the ratings.
Yeah, I don't believe I to be honest, I would actually, if we were going to go down the ratings a rabbit hole, I would say just have it offer actual reviewers reviews on there.
You could do that. Yeah.
I gotta say the best form.
My thing is I don't even if a game is rated whoever stars, I don't even look at that. When I'm going to the store, I know exactly what I'm getting. I'm not browsing or whatever. So I don't. That shit to me personally, it's completely useless.
It's really difficult. Also, the one part of the whole situation, it's really difficult if you wanted to go out there and just kind of throw caution to the wind and try to find something new that you haven't seen. You go on there and then it's blah 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 life, the something story. You look at it and okay, what's this game about? I don't know. Does it give you? And then you look at the stars that says 5.
I'm gonna go in there right now, man. I'm gonna give it to you right now, man. Okay, I haven't seen the ratings for this, but I'm pretty sure Edith Finch got 5 stars, right? Imagine me going in there blind. Let me borrow 5 stars. There's got to be a game. I play this. I'm like, where the fuck is the action? This is just a walking simulator. That rating system is not perfect. So I'm like, just get rid of all that shit. You don't fucking need it,
I gotta
really
say,
don't.
We've all seen ACG's reviews, right? On YouTube.
What's that? What's
ACG? You never say. All right, you could look that up later. But he does buy, rent, or sale.
I've seen him before.
Yeah, and that's great. He does very in depth, and it's not as good. It's hey, this is worth buying, or this is worth renting, or pick this up on a sale. So that's a good way of doing it as opposed to the 5-star and all this stuff, because that's really voting with your wallet. It's really hey, should you be spending this type of money on it? Forget about the number thing. This is what you're getting out of it, and this is why we think this is worth full price, or this is why you should just, you know what, just rent it, play it. It's a quick game or something. I think that method works.
All right. Yeah. All right. I think that's it. So we'll move on here to Mr. Robert Figotner. I'm sorry if I'm fucking up your last name, bro.
That's a new name. I haven't heard that one before.
Yeah, it's rare, but yeah. Hey, thank you for joining us, man. So he goes, great work on Throwdown. Excellent podcast. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. So he goes, my question for the show is about the Shadow of War microtransactions.
Oh, God.
So he goes, after watching Jim Sterling's video, Shadow of More Money, I can now see RNG loot in a single player game is abusive and destructive to the player. In my opinion, even paying $5 for a sword for Talion would be game breaking, thus altering the natural level progression. However, WB has taken this to a whole new level. They are going to put a system in where people pay for a chance to win the best war chest for Talion. People say it's optional, are missing the point that these decisions are made to entice people to buy these microtransactions. Jim Sterling was saying if WB wants people to pay money to skip sections of the game, then those systems or areas of the game must not be good to play. I decided I'm going to skip this game. What do you guys plan to do?
Skipping it too.
Just because of the microtransactions?
It's just none of it. It just sounds dirty to me. It just sounds dirty. And I was like, I'm not going to support them. So I'm not supporting this method. So I'm not going to buy it. I'll pass. If I do pick it up sometime, it'll be when it's on like a bargain bin, like the original one is. So yeah, I'll pass.
Yeah, I'm not. I wasn't really that interested in the original, the first game in that series, so I'm probably not going to pick this one up. I do think it's. I'm still somewhat confused about what the whole microtransaction thing about it is. I don't know. I mean, because again, I'm not fully paying attention to it, but I do think that in certain situations, I think it's okay, but I think at the same time, it's like when you start locking specific content, like things that other than aesthetic things, like, hey, look, I got this fun sword that looks like Aragorn. That could be some sort of downloadable content, but I don't exactly know. Can somebody explain what exactly things that are microtransaction-y in this game?
Well, apparently, you could buy like loot boxes, and they have chances of giving you different items or whatever, Is
that all?
I guess.
It's almost everything in the game. It's like pretty much you can just like stuff that you would normally get later on. So it's basically just trying to buy.
Here's the thing. Can you get these things normally in the game?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Is this microtransaction thing just a quick way to get these specific weapons?
Yep.
So what's the problem?
Exactly. That's exactly where I was going to go. I'm like, listen, I love the first game. I'm still hyped about this. Microtransactions and games do not bother me because I could just skip them. People were telling me, oh, Dead Space 3 sucks because it has microtransactions. The game was fucking fire. I love that game. I didn't buy a single dime of that shit.
That was an option. I think the thing with the loot box,
I don't have any
problem.
I don't have any problems with things with microtransactions that allow you to get things in the game that already exist. So in other words, if you put in the time, you can get this. You can get this thing, or you can just pop down, 99 cents for a stupid sword.
Well, that's the thing. I think people are pissed off is sort of like what happened with Diablo 3 when they had the marketplace. Remember? Mm-hmm. And it was like, oh, legendary items and stuff. People were just buying it, whether it's $1 or $2. But then it's like, you didn't earn it, and you're getting this early on in that level, and now you're flying through. So what's the point of playing the game when the whole goal is to find loot? Now you just got the best item in that act. You know what I mean? You just bought it.
Dante's Inferno had something very similar.
And I mean, most EA was known for doing this before with their Need for Speed series and stuff, where it's like, oh, here, pay $20, whatever, time saver, I think they called it, unlock all the cars, all the parts, so you have all that stuff and you just play when you want, and I think the issue a lot of people have with this also is that it's not so upfront. It's not like, oh, here's this weapon, $4, $2, whatever. It's a loot box. So basically people just start throwing in money and they might get crap the whole time. You know what I mean? There's no guarantee you're going to get the good stuff you want. And I think people were kind of pissed about that too, because they're like, if you're going to do a microtransaction, then let me get my money's worth. Don't give me a fucking bunch of the same armor or weapons or whatever. And what do you do with that? I don't think there's a method to sell that. You know what I mean? So I guess you just dump it. So if you pay, I don't know how much these loot boxes are. Let's say it was like $4 or something, right? And then let's say you already did 2 or 3, and you get the same type of items. What do? You know, do you drop it? You just do nothing, and then you just open up another one. I don't know. So that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the randomized loot boxes. I mean, that's something that's over from Overwatch, right? I don't like.
Games have it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the randomized loot boxes. I mean, I'm fine with the idea of getting, being able to have the ability to buy, really super weapons that you probably can't get. That you can get later on in the game. I'm fine with that. But as long as you can get these things in the game, I'm fine with that. If we're talking about items that are just specific to just you can only get this thing on there, this overpowered sword on our service, I think that's assholey.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Like what Nintendo's doing with Metroid 2. We could only get certain items if you have the stupid amiibo. That's fucked up, Or
at least if you can trade it, like with the way EA does it with their FIFA and with Madden, with MUT and FUT. You open up these packs pretty much like loot. You don't know what you're getting in these packs. You could get duplicate players, but you can put them on the auction house, and then you can sell them for more in-game currency or do trades with other people or players. You can do something with whatever you get. It sounds like with this you can't. It's like if you get the same bullshit, you're asked out.
Yeah, or you just don't buy this shit. Just play the game.
Just don't buy it. Don't buy it.
Simple as that, man.
Yeah, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's not multiplayer, you know what I mean? It's not like it's on. So I don't understand why it's not like someone's getting an advantage over you. I mean, the games aren't connected.
Yeah, exactly.
It really shouldn't. It's just for people that are purists, that are like, no, I want to play the game. I don't want to know that my buddy in work or at school said, it's like, hey, I worked so hard, I finally got this weapon. Yeah, I just spent like $10 or $20 and I got in a loot box.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. A lot of people don't like the idea that people could just skip ahead, by buying this shit. But I'm like, well, if the company wants to make money, let them make money. As long as you can still get this shit in game yourself, I don't see the problem.
And the one thing about it is that you remember, you make or break a feature. If nobody ever uses that stupid feature, nobody ever touches that thing, they'll remove it. It's done. So. Okay, the option is there to have this stupid randomized box there, but if nobody decides to go down with that, then it's not going to be something we'll see again.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, anybody else want to jump in on this?
Nope.
All right, so we'll move on here to here's a new name, Digital Tiger 777. So his question is very interesting. So he goes, I'm a PlayStation fanboy, but I'm a gamer first. PS4 is bar none the best console this generation. It has more relevant exclusive games than Xbox One, Switch, and PC. I would like to own the other platforms, but they are anti-consumer. Xbox One has no games. Switch has shady hardware pricing tactics, and PC has piracy and inconsistent online gaming community. My question is, why are people so ashamed to be labeled as a fanboy and claim neutral? Why not celebrate what makes you happy? Ooh, so many things to unpack here.
Well, that's the same thing with the bro gamer. When someone says, "Oh, you're a bro gamer," why is that considered a bad thing? I mean, whatever. But I think,
go ahead.
Fanboy thinks most people think that fanboys, like what you talked about, like there are some crazy ones that go overboard and start bashing everything just for the sake of bashing. I think that's why it's sort of frowned upon to say, yeah, you're just a fanboy, because then people just think, oh, wow, you're just a horrible person. And because if I tell you that I like something else, Nintendo, you're not going to say, oh, okay. You're going to be like, that's shit. This is why shit. And you know what I mean? And you're going to finger point, So it's almost like being an extremist, for something. You're an evangelist for this one thing, and this is what you live by, and you're going to praise it to holy hell, and everything else sucks. As opposed to just accepting that people have differences and like different things.
Damn, that was beautiful, Adam. That was well said. That's why you don't want to be called a fanboy. See, here's the thing. Back in the day, when I'm talking about almost 20 years ago, being a fanboy, fangirl was fine, right? It was almost equivalent of being a fan, right? You just really liked the shit. Now, fanboy, fangirl has taken on a different, darker connotation, right? Yeah. Now, being a fanboy is you being a zealot, a cultist, basically.
Thank you.
you don't just love your system, right? You will die for your system. You will buy 3 copies of the system. But you can't just stop at loving the system. You have to hate on the competition with rabid fervor and passion. You know.
Before we move on, like one of the problems of being a zealot, loving it something too much is loving it. It's kind of like blind nationalism. At a certain point, you become not open to ideas that are that don't run with the prevalent thought stream that you have. That's a terrible way for me to put it, because I'm stumbling over my words. But basically, if you become a true zealot, then you are immune to actual criticism. You can't see what is actually in your face. So at any point, like if you believe so strongly in something that you are no longer willing to listen to an opposing point of view, that is a bad thing no matter what the context.
Yeah, basically, I've said this so many times. It's okay to be a fan. It's good to be a fan, right? You don't want to be a fanboy, because even fans can see the fault in the shit they love. Fanboys do not. And if you disagree with them, they will attack you. That's the problem there. You don't want to be, you don't call yourself a fan. I'm telling you this. I don't know how old you are, bro. You might be older than me, but I'm telling you, please take my advice. Do not call yourself a fanboy. You could love PlayStation all day, every day. Do not be a fanboy. That is something you do not want, closed-minded fucking idiots. You don't want to be that, bro.
They'll just put you in that category, even if you're not that type of person.
Even if you're not, yourself a fanboy, that's it.
They'll automatically assume, oh, he's a prick. He's going to go and bash me because I like Metroid and Zelda.
But if you are that kind of person, then name yourself that.
There you go.
And you know what? Yes, that's the flip side. If you actually are a fan, because we've seen a lot of fanboys who will not claim it. They'll be like, no, I'm not a fanboy. Meanwhile, they go on Twitter and they shit on the opposite console, or they have podcasts where they shit on the opposite console. You know what I'm saying? Like these idiots at BGST, they're an Xbox podcast. All they do is talk about PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if you are an actual legitimate fanboy, own up to it. Own up to the fact that you will not see the fault in your system. Own up to the fact that you hate everything that isn't your system. Embrace that shit, but be honest about it if you're going to be a fanboy. But if you don't want to be a close-minded idiot, don't call yourself a fucking fanboy.
Sure.
It's probably here's a good test. If you can say, I'm in blank brand for life, I'm a lifer, then you are probably a fanboy.
Yeah, you're probably a fucking idiot. I'm sorry. That's like me saying, oh, I'm Sony for life. And then Sony does some bullshit that I got to stick up to it now because I said I'm for life. See how stupid that is? You don't want that. You go where the games are. Don't be loyal to a fucking brand. It's retarded, All right. His next question is, in my opinion, by the way, dude, here's some more free advice. Stop calling it the X-Bone, because that makes you look like a fanboy. All right. In my opinion, the Xbox One and its exclusives are failing because Xbox got burned by the 360 Red Ring of Death, and they chose to purchase a PS4 this generation. Also, PS4. Let me finish. Also, PS4 has cross chat and more quality exclusive games. Basically, it doesn't matter what Xbox does. It's finished this generation. They would practically have to give it away for free to turn things around. What are your thoughts? Do you agree, disagree? Disagree. The Red Ring of Death had absolutely nothing to do with why the PlayStation 4 is winning this generation. We've talked about this many times. The reason why the PlayStation 4 is winning this generation is myriad. First of all, was that price, the DRM shit, a bunch of stuff. The Red Ring of Death had
poor marketing,
everything. Red Ring of Death was already behind everybody by the time.
That was at the early cycle of the 360, and
the Red Ring of Death didn't really affect anything because people would just
just buy more Xbox.
Chris is an example. It breaks down, went and had them broke down, bought a new one. So
I'm that guy.
Yeah, see.
I bailed on the. I was an Xbox fan, man. I was huge into Xbox. Like the original Xbox was my jam. It was Dreamcast 2.0. It was everything I wanted it to be. I even loved the original fat controllers. But when I bought 2 360s and they both red ringed, I threw my hands up and said, "Fuck you, Microsoft!" Like as a company, fuck you for not supporting this, because it was a huge fiasco in the beginning. It wasn't like you just send your Xbox back in; you were just fucked. You had to try and wrap it in hot towels and overheat it, or resolder it, or do all this other different shit to it, which never worked. Or you had to pay for a replacement. Microsoft's response was, "Meh, fuck you." So they put out a shitty product that failed way more than it should have. And when people came back and said they were having problems, their response was, "Go fuck yourself." And they only actually changed that kind of stance later when they got such a huge backlash. So yeah, I was absolutely done with Microsoft as a company after that. And even though I had been burned by Sony before in the PlayStation 2 era, I decided to go back there, and I found that Sony had been trying harder since I had left, and I've been a fan of PlayStation ever since. But that doesn't mean I'm ride or fucking die. That means until you fuck up, this is the gaming platform I'm playing on. But yeah, I absolutely have to say that until Microsoft, that incident alone lost a lot of goodwill for Microsoft in my eyes. A lot. Pretty much everything that they had built from the ground up as a company, I felt that they were now trying to exploit. And so all the goodwill that they had from the previous generation completely negated. So I would say that this generation hasn't really changed things. So I went from loving Microsoft to hating Microsoft to now I'm kind of back in the middle, and I feel pretty neutrally about them coming in. So we'll see what happens this next generation, maybe. And I don't imagine I'm the only one. I think a lot of people got burned out, because they had the Red Ring, and then they had, the release of the Xbox One, which was just so totally fuck you. And I think that was. Go ahead.
Wasn't their fault with the first part, with the 360, because when that Red Ring started happening, they first found that it was one factory. Right? And then they were like, all right, well, we think we narrowed the problem down. And then as time went on, remember, it wasn't that they were dying right away. It took like a year. And once it hit like the first year mark, then they started dying all over the place.
Dude, I had 2 died within 6 months.
But see, that was the other thing. And then they started giving out, unless you follow their website, serial numbers to look for. And they realized the serial numbers would tell you if it was a bad batch, because then they fixed the problem. But it took too much time to get those new consoles into the wild to replace the ones that were dying, because it did take a year or so for them to all start dying, and it was always the first.
It wasn't a year or so. Like I know a ton of people within the first 6 months.
You're talking to a guy who had 5 of them, man. I'm telling you, I had 5, and I was tracking the serial numbers down. Till eventually.
So you were fine for that first year, though.
The first year was fine.
When they weren't offering you for replacements, when they were just.
Mine didn't die. Mine didn't die till later, after the first year, when they were already fully aware and they were doing the full refund.
Oh no, they were fully fucking aware. Don't tell me that they weren't aware in the first 2 fucking months that this was an issue.
They were aware that there's just like we've all learned it in Fight Club. There's a certain point before you do a recall. You can have a certain amount crash out. And that was the thing. There was a certain amount, but it wasn't global. It wasn't global.
Even Nintendo, as shitty a company as they are, if you get a broken Switch, even 2 days, if it breaks 2 days after you fucking buy it, after it hits the streets, they will repair and fix that shit. It was Microsoft's response to the fiasco that was such a shit fest.
I didn't have issues with them when my other one started dying and
they didn't start. Yeah, it's because yours didn't break down for a year. Those first few months.
I wound up trading them in, and cool. Well, the point is they still survived and they still won that generation.
They didn't.
No, they didn't.
PlayStation 1. PlayStation 1 in the end, dude.
PS3? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it sold more consoles and
it did.
So
Adam, that's just the fact.
I'm just saying, I don't think they did. Quality-wise, I don't think it was there. Because if you looked at it,
doesn't matter what you think.
That's fine. But
just pull up the stats, please, bro. Show
I personally feel that the 360 was a stronger console as opposed to.
No. That's a different story, though.
Yeah.
Like
well, that's my opinion. I'm offering it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Adam, you said that the PlayStation. So you're telling, in your opinion, the PlayStation 3 didn't sell.
No, I'm not saying for me. I felt that it still won as when it comes to quality.
I was going to have Chris
my thing. This is my thing. That's what I'm saying. Well, for me, it was the better console.
Oh yeah, like me.
Oh yeah, that's fine, but you can't say the PlayStation 3 lost to the 360 when the 360.
I could say for myself, I could do that.
No, you can't.
Absolutely, do. Why not? It's my opinion.
No, but you can't say.
If I
like,
started
it's
saying it's
one.
my opinion, I feel that it's one, then I'm in the right. I didn't say according to stats.
Chris,
According
bring
to
up those
Joe
numbers,
Schmo's-
man. Bring up
There
those
you go.
numbers, bro.
You're quoting a website for numbers. I'm quoting my own belief. If I believe in God, you can't tell me that there is no God.
I can, but that's a different subject for another
But that's
day.
what I'm saying. It's like you can't point to a website.
Yeah,
So
but
it's my belief.
point-
Dude,
okay,
okay, well, I can say this.
We'll stop. Chris just brought it up. All right. Okay, Okay, Chris, break it down, man.
All right, this is the lifetime of PS3.
86 million and
88, yeah, and then here's the lifetime for 360.
85 million. So PS3 won last generation. All right, there you go. That's all I needed to say.
Also, I have to address the quality of the console. It's not that they had defective production. It was that it was such a poorly designed console that it couldn't output its own heat correctly and warped its own interior,
Yeah.
It was
breaking
I
its
mean,
solder.
the one thing about the original Xbox is it was kind of pushed out a little too early to get the drop on PlayStation's release. That's a fact right there, because I mean, you even if you waited, like, with the exception of a few games that came out in the beginning of the Xbox 360, it wasn't until a year later, until when the PlayStation 3 was out, that's when they started to hit, and you started seeing all those big ass titles.
Yeah, by the way, Fan of Ash gave us a nice correction. He says, we won that entire generation. Fact.
Yeah. So
fact.
I disagree with Brett. I don't think that the Red Ring of Death caused like the issues later on, like with Microsoft not selling as well. Because if you think about it, PlayStation 3 had a lot of issues with third-party software. Like, a lot of games did not work right for the PlayStation 3.
It was that cell processor they were using.
Yeah, those first 2 3 years were rough on those third-party games, man.
And then they got hacked, and the PSN network went down for a while.
Like, think about it like this. Like, think about it like this, Brett. Is Fallout 3 one of your favorite games last gen?
Yes.
Tony, is Fallout 3 one of your favorite games last gen?
No, fuck that game.
Why is that?
Because it was a broken piece of shit.
Exactly, because you played it on PS3, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that was my experience with it.
Yeah, so like it's like there was issues on both sides, and the Red Ring of Death was huge, but at least to the later parts, they did replace every console. I mean,
no,
they didn't do it
I'm
at
not
the
saying they
beginning.
did. Okay, don't misinterpret my answer. All I was saying that was that Microsoft lost the benefit of the doubt with the launch of 360. So when they came out with their plans for what they were going to do with Xbox One, and they sounded bad, they didn't get the normal benefit of the doubt that they would get from fan service or goodwill from the fan base, because people were already turning a critical eye watching how they were going to handle this. So it's not so much that it ruined things later, it's that it kind of spent all the goodwill that Microsoft had accumulated, or a lot of the goodwill for the early adopters that Microsoft had accumulated up until that point. So I'm saying it had some effect, but there's not like a huge direct correlation. No.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, go ahead. Last thing, and then we'll move on because we got way off topic.
Yeah. So just to go over why people jump ship to PlayStation 4, and I've been saying this since day one. Like, PlayStation is a way bigger brand than Xbox. That's one, and two, it was it was $100 cheaper when it launched. Yeah. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. All right. By the way, you guys are talking about the song "Ring of Fire" because we're talking about Ring of Death. Yeah, Ring of Fire.
Burn like a burning ring of fire.
Yeah, great Johnny Cash song, originally by Nine Inch Nails.
Oh boy!
All right, man. Moving on here to Mr. Joel Torres, another guy who is kind of new, I guess. So the reason I say I guess because I talked to him on Twitter. Anyway, so he goes, "Do you guys have a problem with the word console exclusive? The PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch are not computers, so I don't have a problem with the use of that word. What are your thoughts?"
I have a problem with time exclusive, but not a.
Yeah, no. Do you have a problem with the word, like the phrasing?
Yeah.
I have an issue. It's a dumb, stupid word for a dumb, stupid concept. It's like back then there was a time when exclusive meant, hey, this thing is just strictly exclusive, which was fair. You know, like it had one meaning and one definition. And then suddenly it became third-party exclusive, meaning that, hey, this game is also available on other platforms. But now it's like a console exclusive. It's like, it's a stupid term for a stupid concept that is just really dumb. Like, just call it what it is. It's a third-party title. Like, or even go as far as saying, "Oh, it's a console inclusive," because it's only inclusive of this platform and this platform only, and that's it.
Well, wait. Do they really say console? Or is it more like it'll say Xbox or PlayStation exclusive?
No, console exclusive. It's written on the Street Fighter 5 box.
It's not. Street Fighter 5 is not on PC.
Exclusive.
And Microsoft literally had it in the wording inside of their show.
I thought I had the Street Fighter box. If you look at the Street Fighter 5 box, it literally. This is the first game I ever saw this with console exclusive. It actually says it right on the box.
It never came out for PC.
No, but it did.
Console exclusive. You understand?
It's a console exclusive. Like now, there's a console exclusive and an exclusive.
Here's
and I don't think I've ever seen that.
You never seen console exclusive?
I took it as like PlayStation or Xbox exclusives, like when they say those type of things. But consoles, but if you're
that's
saying
how they get you. That's how they get you. Like they want you to think like that.
Damn.
But if you're saying that
the
Street Fighter 5 came out to PC, but console exclusive, but that doesn't make sense.
You're getting to the point. You're getting to the point of it. But that's you see. That's how they trick people. They're like, "Oh shit!" They're not going to look at the console part. They're going to see the exclusive part. That's what they're going to focus on. You know, so they're going to be like, "Oh shit, Street Fighter 5, I can only play on PlayStation." No, you can actually play it on PC, but they won't know that. You know.
Well, they do that with ads. Whenever they'll advertise a game, and it's mainly the publisher that pays for it, and then on Destiny 2 on the PlayStation 4. Yeah. It's also on Xbox. No, it's not. It said PlayStation 4. You know what I mean? There's people that catch that, and then just go
exclusive is another version of what you just described, Adam. It's just another version of that. It's a way to trick people. Here's the thing.
It's marketing. It's sneaky marketing speech to get to make people think that there's more going on than there isn't.
It's a tricky term for a term that's technically correct. It is technically correct in the fact that yes, it is a console exclusive, but it's extremely misleading too. I
wonder if a marketing rep was questioned on this, and they would say, "Well, we're saying that it's exclusive on consoles because it's not on mobile, it's not on your phone." Is that their joke behind it?
You could be right about it. Technically, console exclusive does fall under that umbrella. Technically.
So let's say you put a lot of money into a game like Titanfall or Street Fighter to make it a console exclusive. I mean, would you advertise that?
Hell yeah, I want to make my money.
Yeah, so but it's still like you could do that without being called nefarious,
Yeah. I'm not saying nefarious is a kind of evil connotation. I'm just saying it's very tricky, very sneaky, but nefarious is just it's a connotation that it's evil. It's not evil. It's a fair business practice. It's just
what's real tricky is launch exclusive.
They do that shit. Yeah,
I know that's tricky.
The Microsoft conference is the first time I ever heard of that one. That term.
And you remember we already at the E3, I turned to him like, "The fuck? Did he just say what? Really?"
I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, we need a fucking a dictionary or something like that to explain some of the terms that these guys are using now.
Like you see this shit, like how many more like adjectives need to add in front of the fucking word exclusive now? This is crazy. So yeah, I think we all agree that the term is fucking dumb.
Oh yeah.
Exclusive and exclusive. Stop with the bullshit. All right, let's move on here to my man All Day Digital. Both Xbox questions too. So old school Xbox, by the way, he goes, what old Xbox IP would help turn this generation around? He goes, in his opinion, they have racers and shooters unlocked, but they still lack that third-person action-adventure RPG. All right, so yeah, let's
resurrecting old franchises.
What franchise from the past do you think could actually help turn Xbox around? Make it like more appetizing to the masses. Splinter Cell is not an Xbox franchise, though.
No, it doesn't matter. But Ubisoft's not doing anything with it. So if they said, "Hey, we'll fund it for another Splinter Cell," especially let's say you bring back one of the Splinter Cell 2 or one of the older ones, it's like, all right, fine, whatever, make it yours. You take it.
A console exclusive.
Yeah, console. Xbox console exclusive.
I think what about a pure Xbox IP?
No. No.
You don't think any of them could do it? Not even Crimson Skies, man. Damn, if Adam doesn't have an answer, I don't know. Does anybody else? Because you're the big Xbox guy.
Yeah, no,
I
I
have
don't
one,
know.
and I'm pretty sure that Rico was just like, love me right now. Blinks the cat.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Blinks the cat.
On Xbox. I'm still waiting for that.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think there's any
the game that did so well that they cleared out the character in its sequel.
Because you got to remember, when Splinter Cell came out, that was like almost like their own exclusive. A lot of people thought, "Wow, this was theirs."
Well, yeah, they thought of it as Xbox's Metal Gear.
Xbox, exactly. So when you
even
saw
though Metal Gear wasn't, well, at the time Metal Gear was exclusive.
Yeah. So I think, and
Oh my
especially
fucking
since
God.
Ubisoft recently said that they're just not developing anything on Splinter Cell in that world. So if Microsoft came along, sort of like what they did with Dead Rising, say, hey, you know what? We'll fund this. We'll do it if you just give it to us. It's a Xbox exclusive, And it's like, all right, whatever.
Yo, by the way, going back to the last question a little bit, because Phantom Vash actually gave us examples of the different names for exclusive nowadays, right? Check this out. Horizon Zero Dawn is an exclusive. Street Fighter V is a console exclusive. Persona 5 is a PlayStation exclusive. Pub is a console launch exclusive. Jesus,
Whoa.
man.
And that's the thing with that console launch with Battlegrounds. It makes you wonder. It's like, well, is it definitely coming to PlayStation 4? Because it's just a launch. Because they haven't said anything. So
They haven't, but the name tells you something.
yeah,
right there.
the name does it with the
Launch
fact it's a
exclusive,
launch.
exclusive, yeah.
So you're sort of giving it away right there that it will be available to our competitors.
Well, yeah,
Remember when Tomb Raider came out? They were like, "Oh, it's a fall exclusive." I'm like, "Okay, so it's going to come out of something else in spring." And sure enough, it came to PC the next couple months later.
Yeah, and then like that phrasing gives it like the leeway to say, okay, pub like that Battlegrounds. What the fuck's that game? I keep saying Battlefield.
Say
Battlegrounds. Yeah, Battlegrounds comes
I'm
out.
gonna call it Pug just to piss off hash slinging.
So that's
It's a dog.
It's a console launch exclusive, right? So it's exclusive like for the console when it launches. But if it comes out for PS4 a second after that, it technically is still correct. So like that phrasing just is stupid.
Yeah, it's a dumb thing. Anyway, so we don't think any old Xbox IP could actually revive the system. I don't think so.
I don't think.
No.
I
Can't think
mean,
of one.
Yo, man, what about
I don't know,
Fable,
I mean-
motherfucker? Fable, man, bring that shit
Well,
back.
they killed it.
yeah,
Yeah,
They killed it.
They killed it.
they ruined it. They try to make it like an RTS and shit, like some like add
Yeah,
some-
no, I mean, the one big game that they had is still going. Halo. That was what
Halo.
put them on the map. And yeah, they had some mini games here, like Fusion Frenzy and stuff. But
So
Oh, man, Viva Pinata, son.
what I was
yeah,
thinking,
Voodoo
Pinata.
Mini. They already brought that back.
what I was thinking, like, what if they try to do, and it didn't work last gen, but last gen, remember they did their whole Japanese like revival stuff, like where they released Blue Dragon, Tales of Vesperia, Lost
Yeah.
Odyssey.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder what they would do now. Like, would it help at all?
No.
No,
No, this is be honest.
no.
I
I mean,
think,
honestly, they need something new. They need new, and they need.
Well, the reason why I say that is because last gen, I mean, think about it. Last gen, it didn't work because there was just a shitload of fucking games. Like this gen, like people, when in the world would you think that Persona 5, a Persona game, was gonna be as big as it was? Like Persona 5 is a great fucking game, and I love that game. But the only reason why it's as big as it is because there's not that many games out.
Really? Because Persona 5 came around the same time as a ton of other games.
Yeah,
came out,
I think it was just very unique. The art design was very unique. That's what attracted me to it.
And it was on a system that everybody had. Not a lot of people had a Vita, to play 4. It was primed to sell well.
Well, Persona 4 came out for the PS2.
Yeah, but people didn't have that one. Yeah,
Golden did a lot better though.
yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. But yeah, but Persona still came out at a heavy time of the year. We had Resident Evil and Horizon and Yakuza
Resident
and all
Evil
this
was
other
January.
shit.
Like I'm like I understand what you're saying, but when we get exclusive games that are good, they're put on a pedestal that were never put back last gen.
Really? Okay, then please tell me what happened to Ori and the Blind Forest and Sunset Overdrive.
We're talking. Oh, but this is Microsoft. Come on, man. The
Yeah,
Xbox is a failure.
But
Like when it comes to.
But this question is for Microsoft. Understand? What can they do? What game? I don't think a single game
That
can
is
say
true.
this shit.
Yeah, that's a good point.
No.
I mean, they can just do what they did with Gears, is just buy the IP from the developer. You know, they bought Gears from Epic, you know, and they said, now it's ours. So I think they can do that with some other ones if they think it's worth it. Like the Splinter Cell. I mean, if Ubisoft's willing to sell it since they're not doing anything, and they say, you know what, we want it all, you know, and we'll just keep running with it.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Fanavash says that Persona 4 came out on the PS2 in 2008, 2 years after the PS3 came out. So, you know, I probably heard it. People were like, oh, fuck, I'm not playing that shit, you know, but they did play it on Vita, which is interesting. All right, let's move on to the next question here. It's still about old Xbox. What is your all-time favorite Xbox IP? I guess this could be any of them.
Getting Up, Mark Echo.
That's your favorite one. That's your favorite one.
That was one that I could
Wasn't
always
that-
go back.
But wasn't that both on PlayStation as well? Getting Up.
I don't know.
I don't know. So you like that? You like that more than Halo and Gears and all that?
That wasn't on Gears. Wasn't on the original Xbox.
No, any Xbox IP now.
Oh, any Xbox. Then that's Gears. You know, I have the tattoo. I love Gears.
There you go.
You know, Gears for life.
Yeah, I've only been playing Xbox for like a little over a year now, so I'm Gears of War. You know, I haven't played Halo or any other stuff, so default is Gears of War. I played all of them except for Judgment. Everybody's telling me it's like, don't play that shit.
Judgment was fine. Judgment was fine. It was different. It was a different approach. It's just...
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Gears. They got monsters. Gears of War is basically like a 3D version of fucking Contra. I love that.
Gave us the roadie run. Think about that.
Yeah.
We've seen it, the shaky cam and everything. Hell, even in Mass Effect. You know what I mean? That all started from Gears.
Yeah, it's true, man. Gears of War to me is like the video game equivalent of the handshake from Predator. You know, it's a manly fucking game.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
All right, Chris. What about you, man? What's your favorite franchise from Xbox?
Oh, easily Halo. Easily.
Oh, nice. Yes,
Without
man.
question. Yeah, I mean, I got like that was what got me back into like FPS multiplayer was original Halo. Because I hadn't played FPS multiplayer like hardcore since like Quake 2.
Oh shit.
I used to play that like daily. That was like religion.
I used to live on the Medal of Honor series. Loved it on PC.
Nice. All right, Carlos, man, favorite Xbox IP.
Yeah, same as Chris. Halo is like a freaking franchise that brought me back into gaming like no other game did like back in that day. Because I was in high school when Halo came out, and just the phenomenon like of like LAN party like gaming and like competitive multiplayer with FPS is like something that rejuvenated me when it came to gaming. So I would say Halo.
Nice. Brett, where is this man? Maybe he's walking. Oh,
No,
there
I'm
he
right
is.
here.
Right,
There's the-
Will, what's your favorite Xbox franchise of all time?
You know, I would probably have to jump on the bandwagon on this and say Halo, just because at the time it was absolutely revolutionary. Like I still remember Halo's what sold me on the Xbox. It was because I had dropped into an EB Games and picked it up, and it was the first game to really use that particular controller setup. And it was suddenly like I was like, oh my god, I've been because I was used to fucking like GoldenEye and shit like that. Like,
actually, it was aliens that used that controller style.
really?
Yep, there was an aliens game that actually used the two controller style, the control stick style. But at the time, the reviewers gave it really bad ratings because of that. They're like, "Why doesn't it have a strafe button?"
Yeah, so I wasn't used to it, at least. And picking up Halo, it was very intuitive, and immediately like, oh my god, I've been doing this wrong my entire life. And Halo is the reason that I fell in love with Twin Sticks to begin with. So I would say, if accounting for time, probably that or Shenmue.
That was on Dreamcast, to be honest. That was an
Yeah,
Xbox.
I guess that was just ported over, and the same can be said for Jet Set. So that's why I said like I loved Xbox because it pretty much adopted a lot of the Dreamcast stuff. So I'll probably go with Halo. Not so much a fan these days, but at the time it was pretty revolutionary.
Hello.
Yeah. All right, Manny, go ahead.
I'd have to say Gears of War. That is the one game that almost made me buy an original Xbox 360. And then the second one would be for Blue Dragon on the original Xbox.
Oh, nice.
No, that was 360 Blue Dragon.
Blue Dragon wasn't on original.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
it
was
360.
360.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the two games that I think are really cool.
Can I
Right,
shout
I
out
would
to Last Remnant too?
Oh, Last Remnant is good too.
Eternal Sonata. That was another one they had on it.
That eventually came to PlayStation though.
It did?
Yeah.
That had a
Yeah,
really
yeah.
cool cinematic entrance. That was pretty cool, that battle scene. Then the swords flying over the guy, like, oh, pulling the Matrix and stuff. That was pretty cool.
Right. Brian, do you have any Xbox experience? Because you never really talk about Xbox.
I guess Project Gotham Racing was the
It was
only
by
one I really
default,
cared about,
yeah.
but yeah, that's it.
Awesome. All right. Let's move on here to Black Metal Gamer. All right. So he goes, if worst case scenario, Crackdown 3 gets canceled, how bad would that impact the Xbox brand? And what do you think this would mean for Microsoft? It wouldn't mean shit for Microsoft. the company would be all
just
right.
Xbox.
You know? It's Xbox.
It would just suck. I mean, they put so many years. I mean, the first time we heard about it was in 2014. 2014. You know, and then now it's coming 2018. Think about that. That's a lot of time, money, hype wasted. You know, that would really suck. You know,
In 2014, they actually just made they only just made the announcement.
yeah.
They didn't even have it even in development.
They just had a T-shirt. You know, remember that shit, man? He gives that E3.
Remember, they threw it in like a splash screen. It was like a bunch of stuff, and we just saw like the orb logo. I'm like, oh.
It didn't even say Crackdown 3. It said,
Oh.
yeah, it's just the logo. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it would be bad, dude. Like, because this is supposed to be one of their premier games. Like, delaying it is already bad enough because there's nothing really to play on Xbox this fall. But if you cancel it like Scalebound, man, you're gonna lose a lot of people. You're gonna lose a lot of people.
This is definitely coming out. Is it going to be good?
It's coming,
I
yeah.
don't know, but
It
it
don't
will
matter.
come
It don't
out.
matter. It don't matter. At this point, put that shit out. You have to put it out.
You have to
Yeah.
put
Even if
it
it's a
out.
piece of shit, you know.
When I start reading posts about Xbox gamers buying Switches, you know there's a lack of content on Xbox.
Oh shit,
Uh-oh.
man. Yeah, I there's not really much more to say. It would be very bad if Crackdown 3 gets canceled, man.
Yo, by the way,
Go ahead, bro.
shout out to Rob Zilla who brought up Two Human. Yo, I haven't heard
I remember
about that
Two Human.
game.
Two
in-
Human.
I was it something night Silicon Knight? Didn't he
Yeah,
have
That was Dennis
lawsuit?
Dyack, right?
Yep.
A huge lawsuit. It was a
Yo, I remember Two
Handle it.
Human. That game was fucking reviled, man, when it came out.
There was so much hype on that game.
There was a ton of hype, but when it came out, people said it was like one of the worst games they've ever played.
It
You
was
know?
it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. I remember playing that game. I was hyped on it too, and it was like,
Man, Dennis Dyack, that's a name we haven't heard in a while. Shit.
What's he up to now?
Who the fuck knows, man? After that game, you know. All right. Next question. With the success of Sonic Mania and Yakuza, do you think Sega will pump out more quality games via triple or double A and possible new throwback digital retro games? I would love it if Sega came back. I realized that the other day because I was like, oh shit, I just played 2 really awesome Sega games this year. And then somebody was like, hey, Tony, Persona's a Sega game too. Like, oh shit.
well, Atlas. They don't use it. They don't say Sega at the
No, they don't,
beginning.
but
They don't, but Atlas does. Atlas is part of Sega because
It is.
Atlas's name does also show up in the credits of Sonic Mania.
Yeah, that's right. I love it, man. It takes me back to the old days, man. You guys, you know, as I've said many times, I was a Sega fanboy. I hated everything that wasn't fucking Sega. You know, I was a zealot. I was one of those guys, you know. So
You and me, buddy.
you
I
already
love
knew,
Sega.
man. I bought all that shit, man. 32X fucking Sega CD, everything. man. I
Quackshot.
love that shit.
Quackshot was awesome. Remember Quackshot with the
Yeah,
pointers?
Yo.
Well, no, that's
Jump on it.
yeah, that's a Genesis game.
Yeah, but Sega, you know.
Sega, still Sega.
It's all about Sega, man.
Bring
So-
back Crazy Taxi. They could easily do that.
Yeah,
a
man.
cool one, a cool updated version of that.
Yo, but I said this during my live stream of Sonic Mania. I'm like, yo, do this, what you did with Sonic Mania, for Streets of Rage. I love Streets of Rage, man. That was the shit.
Is there a Streets of Rage like fan group like there is for freaking
I asked that too. I'm like, does Christian Whitehead like the game enough to do that? There is a little reference to Streets of Rage in Sonic Mania, though.
yeah, it's the name of one of the stores is in the background.
Yeah. But I would love that. Yeah. But, you know, obviously we want Sega to do new shit, you know, like good new shit. But yeah, it's great. I love it. Yeah. After Yakuza played Sonic Mania, I'm like, Yeah, this is almost like the old days. Bring back Virtua Fighter, please. By the way, you know.
Did you find all the games in Yakuza, all the throwback games like Outrun and stuff? Did you find all of them?
I think there's only 3 of them in Yakuza 0.
Which one?
Okay, there's Outrun, right? You could unlock Hang On, and there's also Space Harrier.
And now, is it like the complete game, or is it just like a quick little snippet?
No, it's the whole thing. It's the
it's a full
entire
game.
arcade. Yeah, it's the whole arcade game, bro.
Yeah, that's
It's
cool.
fucking awesome, dude.
Just like how Shenmue had those games in it too.
Yeah. And Yakuza 6 is gonna have the full Virtua Fighter 5 in it, which is insane.
Wow.
Oh man, yeah, Sega, yeah, need to come back. I was thinking about that this morning when I woke up. I'm like, yo, like Sega could actually legitimately come back with with Virtua Fighter 6, I guess it would be, and a new Sega Rally. I was gonna say Daytona, but I think Sega Rally would be a little bit more mass appealy, you know, than Daytona. You know, I personally like Daytona more. Yeah. Daytona, let's go away. Oh man.
But you know the thing about those games is that a lot of those original ones are just short. Like the original Daytona's like,
well, they were arcade games. Yeah, they were arcade games. Yeah, so we need to expand upon them. What the fuck was that?
I don't know.
Somebody's something like that.
Yeah, that was coming from Brett's thing. He was a couple of totes.
Sorry, I was blowing out a straw.
Yeah.
All right, man. So moving on here to Mr. Robzilla, who we just talked about. All right, what's the point of having all the power of? Basically, he's asking, what's the point of having Minecraft in 4K on the fucking Xbox One X?
Oh, that
I don't know. Doesn't really matter.
That's one of the mysteries. Somebody go ask Edgar Casey why.
It's just
Along where Atlantis is, because it makes no sense.
It's like it's like taking an old like an old PlayStation 2 game and touting that it can run at 4K. Yes, because you don't need to run all the bullshit like the same amount of polygons and AI in the background. So yes, you can run that at 4K.
Yeah,
and that confused me also at that reveal there, because they were like, "Oh yeah, here's the console. Is that an S or an X?" You know what I mean? Like I didn't know. Like, is this like a Minecraft exclusive model X? I mean, they didn't say. They just said they were Minecraft exclusive bundle. You know, and they kept bragging about like the design and the controller and stuff. But I didn't know if it was an X or an S.
Yeah, I think it's an S. By the way, Jay Fonzarelli, he goes, "What's the point of Minecraft?" Hey, I love it.
Hey man, that shit still makes money. So
it still makes money. I mean, I don't get it, but hey, people like it. Kids love it.
It's for kids. It's their version of Lego.
Yeah, digital
Lego. So.
Hey, fuck you, man.
What, you don't like digital Lego?
No, Brett loves he loves Minecraft, so he doesn't like it when I talk shit about Minecraft, you know.
What? That's a compliment. Digital Lego is fucking awesome.
No, it's a game for kids.
Well, more kids buy it than anything else.
What is there something?
Everybody buys it.
Is there something specifically wrong with family entertainment?
No. It's just I know a lot of people.
Sucks.
Everybody plays Minecraft. Like the whole gamut of people play Minecraft, from fully grown adults to, little kids. Like, yeah, and it that's kind of the beauty of it. So that's like saying comic books are for kids. Come on.
Yeah, that's true.
Comic books were for fucking kids.
Yeah, they were.
Oh yeah, but are they?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
It was the kids that grew up and said, "Hey, I still like to read this shit."
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. We're that generation still. Same way gaming.
Yeah. So yeah, Minecraft is not a kids game, but those are the people that adopted it. You know.
I mean, it's to be honest, it's like, to me, it's along the lines of family entertainment. Like, you think that Disney films and stuff like that are officially kid films? Not exactly. They're meant for everybody to go and see. Grandma and grandpa and everybody. So maybe not. Maybe grandma and grandpa won't be playing Minecraft, but it's just meant to be kind of like a general thing,
Yeah, it's definitely not for everybody.
Calling it Lego, Lego. It's still
that's a compliment. That's a compliment.
No, I'm fine with the Lego thing. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's the same. I'd have the same reaction if someone was like, "Hey man, Legos are for kids." We're like, "Fuck you! I just built an awesome pirate ship, and my buddy built a slave one. Go eat a dick. Legos are for anybody who wants to play with Legos."
Are you gonna pick up the Minecraft for the Switch?
No, I'm honestly I'm done. Like, I really enjoyed playing that game with Rachel, and and it's not one of those things that I'm thinking about delving into. But I would like to see more building games. Like that's a genre that I'd like to see filled out.
Fortnite, like Fortnite. That's supposed to be like the next version of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, but like I'm actually really excited about Fortnite. But the thing that's kept me out of it is their pricing scheme, where it's going to be a free-to-play game that you have to pay retail game price to get into early access. And the only way that that's acceptable to me, in the mildest way, would be if they gave you like $60 worth of things you would otherwise buy. Like if they gave you $60 worth of microtransactions, like I might be able to swallow the bitter pill, not happily, but I might be able to swallow the bitter pill of you have to buy $60 worth of microtransactions to get early access to the game. Okay, fine. If you give me a bunch of loot chests and shit like that, I'm still not happy about it because I don't like the system. But if I'm paying $60 just for access to the game, you can fuck yourself with a splintered wooden dildo.
Yo, by the way, Jay Franz really talking mad shit. He goes, to each their own, but Roblox and Minecraft aren't for me.
I mean, that's fine. You know what? Here's the thing. If I want to be mean about it, I can talk shit back to anybody who wants to talk shit on Minecraft. But I will say this. It is definitely not a game for everybody. It draws some people more than others. It has a unique multiplayer approach. And there aren't many building games out there, even with Minecraft being as rudimentary as it is. You haven't seen anything be able to pop up and do better. So part of that is due to the limit on processing power and having a voxel based world. So talk all the shit you want, but if for people who like to build stuff and who like the idea of digital Legos and like the idea of being able to construct something in this world, there aren't a whole lot of options. So right now, Minecraft, unfortunately, is still at the top of that list until something better comes along to replace it.
Yeah, I mean, there's clones out there like Dragon Quest builders and shit, but yeah, I guess they're not as robust as Minecraft.
It has a survival element in it as well, which allows you to really, and I know that they've added other shit like crafting and everything like that. And honestly, I don't think that's where the magic lies. I think the magic lies in being able to just get together and build some stuff with friends. But there's also the idea where you have to collect the resources. Keep in mind, not everybody plays the game in creative mode. Some people play it in survival mode. That's the way I prefer to play it. So it's very similar to gigantic structure building in Fallout 4. You have to go out to the world, you have to find the materials, you have to find the rare materials, then you have to build these incredibly elaborate structures. And just like Fallout 4, some people didn't really care for the base building mechanics. Some people, like me, were like, oh my god, this is pretty much the game as far as I'm concerned. So there's a lot of demand for these types of games. So why you can hate on Minecraft, until something better comes along that does something similar, it's still going to reign king. The same way, Warcraft is not the apex of MMOs, but it's got the largest player base, and it's still the fucking standard.
Yeah. By the way, Fan and Vash, he wants me to tell you to check out Dragon Quest Builders or Birthdays the Beginning. You might like those games. That's what he says.
I will check both of those out.
Awesome. All right, let's move on here to the last.
Dragon Quest Builders,
go ahead.
like of Minecraft that they're showing at
well, that's why Brett might like it.
And like everyone laughed because they're like, oh, this is my Minecraft, but crap.
Yeah, I don't know, but the funny thing is, the game did very well. So I guess the joke's on them. I guess I wouldn't.
Really?
I don't care for the game.
I
Yeah,
don't see everyone talking about it.
Really, because when the game first came out, they all I saw was people talking about this. I'm like, really, like people were surprised when it came out. When it came out.
When? I was asking, like, when?
Last year, motherfucker.
What time last year? Because I must just missed that point.
Yeah, people were talking, and I'm like, why are people talking about this shit? And now they're making a Dragon Quest Builders too because the first one did so well. It's crazy. All right. Yeah. All right.
I'm looking at both of these things. I'm still not like. I wish somebody would be able to do something without voxels. Like Landmark seemed to be like it was on a pretty good. It seemed like it was on a pretty good trajectory to be able to do that before that whole thing fell apart. There's several MMOs, like survival MMOs in out that are following kind of the Rust arc kind of idea. So there are building games out there. I mean, even like I said, even Fallout 4 is half the fucking game in there is building. That's why one of the reasons I'm really excited for the next Elder Scrolls, because I expect them to have a building mechanic in there. I expect to be able to craft my own town, fort, whatever the fuck it is. And I look forward to going out hunting materials and doing that. I wish that they would break away. I wish people would notice the building component as opposed to the cartoony block component, because I think what was successful about Minecraft really goes over a lot of people's heads. And I don't think it's the graphics. I think it was the spirit of the gameplay. And even though you say like Tony, for instance, you say like, oh, you don't like sandbox games because there's never anything to do. Well, like it has the mechanic in it where when it becomes dark, monsters come out at night, and these monsters try to kill you. So the only thing you can do is try not to die. So the first night you're inevitably probably like going to dig a hole, and then you're just going to, the second day you may craft yourself a little shack, but the zombies might break down the door. And so you need to build up your defenses, and then you start trying to find better armor. There is a clear progression even without a story. And I think that it's that very finite balance of survival / building, in that you are required to build to survive. That's one of the things Fallout 4 got wrong, in the sense that, yeah, your village, your settlement kind of got attacked, but it really wasn't a huge deal past a certain point. It didn't raise up and challenge you. So I think you have to have a good balance of being able to build things and having to build things for utility purpose. Otherwise, everything you're doing is window dressing, and it doesn't interest a lot of people. But if you put a reason for you to build something, like it looks like kind of Fortnite is doing, then I think that you'll have more regular people engaged, because it's a hard sell to get your standard gamer to even play a game like Rust. So put my soapbox away now.
All right, let's move on to the last question from Mr. Bryce Douglas. So he goes, how do you this is interesting. I'm surprised no one's asked us about this. This has been going on for a while. How do you feel about the cryptocurrency mining issue and how it's affecting availability of mid-range GPUs for regular people? It seems like AMD and NVIDIA aren't doing much to remedy it. So yeah, basically, I don't understand the whole thing what's going on here, but basically these guys are doing some shit that's making like prices artificially go up for graphics cards and shit. If anybody knows about this, please go ahead, Chris.
With Bitcoin and Ethereum and all those cryptocurrencies, you can use GPU. Basically, the more parallel cores you have, or CUDA cores or whatever,
CUDA cores,
you can mine transactions from Bitcoin or whatever, and then generate money, your own money through that, like scraping just not even pennies, like fractions of value. And the more processing power you have, the more you can do this. So what people do is buy several video cards, right? And
Titan cards, right? It was a certain Titan card.
Well, yeah, you could buy Titans, but there's even custom boxes people are buying now that just skip all that. It's just full. It's just loaded with GPUs in it, and it has giant fans. And they have this thing in their house just running all day and all night, as part of the blockchain to generate revenue for themselves.
Because this was like a few weeks ago. I remember this story. It was like something about, it was a particular video card that they were looking for, and they couldn't find anymore. So people were just selling them like at ridiculous prices online, and they were getting the money for it. It was something about,
I think the NVIDIA Quadros would be better for that, because I think they have more parallel cores, so it would be able to handle that better. But again, it's you're really getting very little value for it, which is why these guys are looking for as much processing power as possible.
Yeah, after I got my 1080 Ti, it went up in price, and it's
because of this.
It's for the same reasons.
They're looking for that card.
People are trying to calculate floating point values, or not. Prime values. I don't know. Do you ever hear that, Chris? I think that's like one of the things. Like they're just trying to get, what's it called? Yeah, they're just trying to get prime values, right, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that, because each transaction they generate these values, right? So you can imagine with Bitcoin or Ethereum and any of these, there's millions and millions of transactions happening. So you add your computer to part of this process, right, as a dedicated machine, and you're mining just very small fractions of the value of that transaction. You get a piece, right? So the more processing power you have, the bigger the piece you get.
Like folding at home.
Right. Well,
Man, folding at home.
except it's actually money. Folding at
Yeah.
home is just satisfaction, I guess.
I mean, the PS fanboys were hyping that shit up. Like,
yeah, that thing was a bunch of horse shit. All right, I think that's gonna do it for us. So let's go over it once again. So we are going to have actually the contest is pretty much already started, kind of, right? We're gonna be giving away the collector's edition of Sonic Mania for the PS4, right? Manny and I are gonna do a quick video on it tomorrow where we're gonna give you more details, but basically we're gonna have you we're gonna say, subscribe to the channel and follow us on Twitter, and we need you to retweet that. So you got to be a subscriber to the channel first, the Throwdown on YouTube, and then retweet it. And you keep doing that, and we'll pick somebody at random, and they'll win on episode 149 of Throwdown, which is in 2 weeks. Let me give you the exact date for that. That is September 7th. Easily our biggest giveaway, both metaphorically speaking and literally speaking. This box is fucking big,
It is not small.
So yeah, again, we wanted to keep the barrier very simple to enter. Just retweet the shit and subscribe to the channel. That's all it takes,
And the Twitter.
And the Twitter, of course, yeah. Because we don't really have too many people on Twitter, which is weird, But yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. So that's gonna do it for us. I guess this week we're gonna have some Gamescom stuff. Gamescom has officially started, so hopefully we get more shit. Because if Microsoft's any indication, this Gamescom may not be so good. Oh man! All right. So thank you for watching and listening. Leave us your questions in the comment section of this episode here on YouTube or on the Coalition. We'll answer them on next week's show, man. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Throwdown Show. Links are located in the description below. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco. Tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
Yep. See you later, guys. Don't forget to watch us tomorrow, where we'll explain more about how you can get your own copy of Sonic Mania.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
peace out.
Brett Murdoch.
See you, everybody.
Adam Vale.
Later, people.
With a lucha ad, motherfucker.
It's sad, man, because it looks like it's done.
Damn, son.
It's done. They freaking almost all the guys that they had already signed new contracts with other promotions, and guys that were loaned out from another Japanese promotion. I mean, a Mexican promotion signed a deal with GFW, so it's like almost all their guys are going to be at GFW. So that means lucha has nobody for season 4.
Wow, that's sad, bro.
It is sad.
Yeah. WrestleCast, y'all are going to be covering the shit that happened this weekend?
Yeah, yep. We're going to be covering. It was, shit, I wasn't kidding, man. It was like 12, 13 hours of wrestling this week. It was a lot of freaking wrestling.
That's like football and shit, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it. Yeah, if you watch all the football games. You know, if you guys have the WWE Network, watch that NXT TakeOver. That TakeOver was great. SummerSlam, not so great. You know, it was long. It was like 4 or 5 hours long, but TakeOver was good. You know? But yeah, we're going to cover it. We're going to talk about what the fallout from it.
All right, cool. And Brian Manjoma.
I finally finished Beyond Good and Evil. Fantastic.
Yay.
Loved it.
Fucking awesome, man. All right, people. We'll see you next time. Later.
Later, guys.
Ladies.
Deuces.
Peace.